So, good morning. Welcome everyone to this day 4 in the Seniors Week, Aging with Ease and Grace. So today, Nancy, New. Good morning, New. Welcome.
Hi, morning.
We've got a whole little group today. This is lovely. Yesterday in our lesson, Tanya and New had told me about they had a problem with their shoulder. So I've changed my plan about what I was going to teach, and we're going to do a lovely lesson about shoulders today. So in our culture, we use our arms a lot. We sit at the computers, and I think especially sitting at computers, driving cars, we just seem to use the arms, but we don't use our whole body. And this lesson is about how do we use more of ourselves so that our poor old arms and shoulders don't get so sore. So what happens in our body when we move well and move with ease and grace, every part of us is involved in any movement. Like if I go to reach to the ceiling, my whole body is involved in that movement. But what happens is parts of us, we forget about how to use our whole body, and we just use part of ourselves. So is anyone in any particular pain? That I know that New has a sore shoulder, and Tanya. Anyone else?
I have too, but I didn't like to say.
You didn't like to say? Okay. All right.
I woke up this arm and shoulder, yes.
Okay. Oh, right. So, and our shoulders are our shoulders, kind of like if it's SHOULDER. And so when we're feeling, got to do this, I've got to do that, we're judging ourselves and putting the weight of the world on our shoulders, we kind of like scrunch up like this. So this is a great lesson to help you. Good morning, Bev.
Morning, Rhonda.
So we're doing a lesson today called Calming the Arm Through the Pelvis, and it's to help organise your arms and shoulders more from how to move your arms using the rest of your body. So come and lie on your back, somewhere where I can see you. That's great, Steve, where you are. Just come and lie on your back, and maybe have a little cushion or something under your head. You might need something under your head, Steve, just a little towel or a cushion or something.
I was going to sit in the chair. I have to move.
Oh.
No, it's all right.
You're okay? Yeah, just find somewhere where I can see you. And I can't quite see you. I can see, you might have to just move back a bit or something. Just I can see where you are, just so I can't see your whole body. Like, so if you just even move yourself back a little bit, or the camera back a bit, so I can see you. Even if I can see more your head rather than your feet, because your leg's going to be bent up, so I can just move somewhere where I can see. Yeah. And I think I can see the rest of you. Now, Patricia, I can just see your lovely face. I can't see your body, and I need to be able to see a bit more of you.
I've only got the iPad.
Okay, that's okay. Just I can see a little bit. That'll do. Just lie down.
Right.
I'll work with that. So, okay. So just sense how you're lying on the floor this morning. Yeah, that's better, Elaine. And if you need something under your head, like Steve, I think you need to have something under your head. So have you got a cushion or something? Or something a bit more than that under your head itself. Yeah. A little bit higher than that. Can you put something, because your head's just tilting back? Yeah.
How's that?
Okay. How's your lower back feeling on the floor there, Steve?
Oh, yes.
How's your lower back lying there like that on the floor?
Not too bad.
Not too bad? Okay. Yeah. Just if you had your head something a little bit higher under your head, I think it would take some of that pressure off your lower back. You had another little cushion, or turn the cushion over or something. No, and you'll need to get something else.
How's that?
Does that feel okay? Not too high for you now?
No, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so just sense how you're giving your weight to the floor. Feel how your heels are touching the floor. Now, if you feel any discomfort in your lower back, by all means, bend up your knees. Feeling, so you can have your knees bent up if you feel that stresses your lower back with your legs long. Notice your calves on the floor, your knees. your thighs, the weight in your buttock. Feeling your lower back, is it touching the floor or lifted a little bit off the floor? Noticing your ribs, are your lower ribs touching the floor? Are they lifted a little? Feel your shoulder blades on the floor. And notice how you have your arms. Are they lying on your body? Are they lying beside you? Do you have the palms up? Do you have the palms down? So don't change anything, just noticing for the moment where you are. And just bring your attention in particular to your shoulders and your arms lying on the floor. And notice, is there any difference between how your right arm lies on the floor and your left arm? And those of you who have pain in your shoulders, notice particularly, is there a difference in how you give your weight to the floor? So in this lesson, we're going to be learning how to calm down a lot of activity in your arms and hands by waking up your spine to support your arms. And you'll discover in this lesson how your arms are connected to your back. So many people can't feel this connection and move their arms mechanically. And this causes a lot of overworking in the arms, which leads to pain and injury. And we're going to be exploring a variety of movements, which may be unexpected and unknown, to help make your mind more flexible. And this, of course, is the main training. We're changing the patterns in our brain. So as your arms are lying there, where do you feel the most pressure? If you have the arms on the body, can you just bring them down onto the floor somewhere? The arms are on the floor, and notice which parts make more contact with the floor. So is it your elbows? Is it your wrists? Your hands? So your arms are both resting on the floor. Both of them are resting on the floor. Notice where you feel the pressure. I'm just going to mute you. Okay. And place your arms about 45 degrees from your body. So halfway between your arms out straight and your arms by your side. And is that uncomfortable for anybody? If it is, you can lower them down a little bit. Just, I want you to, the main thing is to feel the movements are pleasurable and comfortable for yourself. And in particular, pay attention to your right arm and feel what parts of it, so your arms are resting on the floor still, your arms are down on the floor. And paying attention doesn't necessarily mean, we think that when we pay attention to something, we look at it, but can you pay attention by just feeling, sensing how your arm is resting on the floor? What parts are touching the floor? How do you have your hand? Is the palm facing up or facing down? And can you lie your right palm flat on the floor? So turn your palm over so the palm is flat on the floor. And notice where you need to invest effort to do this. So you're just turning your palm towards the floor. And what do you need to move to do this? Is it just your hand that moves? Is it your forearm? Can you feel anything in your upper arm? Can you feel anything in your shoulder? And then just do the same with the left palm. Place your left palm on the floor with facing the palm down, and notice what that movement's like. And is it different from one arm to the other? Don't worry, Patricia, you'll be fine where you are. I'll just tune into you somehow. Just as long as you're comfortable. Don't worry too much about the camera. And bend up your left knee and place your left foot flat on the floor. So you bend your left knee and your left foot flat on the floor. And can you tilt your knee to the right so that the left hip lifts a little? Tilting your knee to the right so the left hip lifts a little, and return it to the vertical position and just bring it back. And can you allow the movement to go through your spine to your right arm, and rotate your right arm so the palm faces towards the ceiling? So one image that may make sense to you is if you think of a stick attached from your right knee to your thumb. And as you take your knee over to the right, it pushes your hand open so that the palm opens out and your palm faces towards the ceiling. And then imagine as it comes back, that stick, just the knee, as the knee comes back, it pulls the hand back. So as you take your knee over to the right, your right palm opens out. And as you bring your knee back, the right palm comes flat on the floor again. Now, is that okay for all of you? No one's hurting and in pain yet? You're okay, Tanya? And Nu? Okay. Yeah. So it's like, and as you come back, you're just unwinding gently. And can you have the idea in your mind that it's your left hip that rotates your right arm? So your left hip lifts. So you're taking your knee over to the left, but the left hip is moving to rotate your right arm. And notice what's happening in the middle of your body as you do that. As you lift your left hip, can you feel anything happening in the ribs on the left side? And maybe you could put your right hand across your body, or your left hand, sorry, on those ribs, and just feel as you do this movement, can you feel anything happening in those ribs? So you're taking your left knee across, the left side of your pelvis lifts, and the ribs lift on the left. And can you move your hand up to your breastbone? So your left hand to touch your breastbone, and feel as you move your knee to the right and your left knee to the right, your left hip lifts. Can you feel, and the ribs lift, can you feel a movement in the breastbone? And moving your chest this way, does that help the movement? Of your pelvis. So you're taking your knee across to the left, the pelvis, left side of your hip lifts up, the ribs on the left lifts up, and your breastbone moves across to the left. And does that help those ribs open up? And does that help the arm to open out on the floor? And just go very, very slowly, feeling how you do that movement. So not causing any pain, particularly if you have tension in your arms. So you're taking your knee across to the right, the left side of your pelvis lifts up off the floor, the ribs start to move, on the ribs on the left start to move, lift up a little bit, your sternum, your breastbone starts to move, and the arm, the shoulder comes closer to the floor, and the arm can open out. And then as you come back, the hip comes down, the ribs come down, the sternum comes down, and the arm comes flat on the floor again. Just feeling that movement. Now, one thing I didn't say was to keep your other shoulder on the floor. Your left shoulder stays on the floor. You want the movement to happen through the ribs and the sternum. So just do less, Tanya. Just do less and keep that shoulder a little bit on the floor. Just so very gently, just taking the pelvis just a little way, even about half that amount. Just do even less, just slowly, slowly, a little bit, about half that speed. So it's like watching a cloud just gliding very slowly across the sky. So you're lifting your pelvis and you feel the ribs move and you feel your breastbone move. And then you may get that sense, if you lift that left shoulder, you're just going to roll like a rolling pin. But we want to differentiate the ribs and the shoulders. Part of what happens when you get shoulder pain is that the ribs and the shoulder blades and the collarbone get stuck together. So we're wanting to unstuck them, get them to play separately like notes on a piano. So it's just doing less rather than more and feeling that very slight difference. And just come back and rest on the floor. And noticing how you're resting on the floor now. How does your right shoulder feel compared to your left shoulder? So what we're doing with this movement was moving the arm by actually moving the pelvis and the whole torso, rather than the arm becomes more passive. It's the activity is somewhere else, changing the patterns of how we usually use our arms, which is they're very much in our brain image of ourselves as the arms moving, but we're inviting other parts, inviting the pelvis to move, inviting the ribs to move, inviting the sternum to move, and to allow the arm just to passively be taken along. And just one last time, bend up that left knee, and we'll do the movement once again. This time, just think that the intention is to passively move that right arm. So instead of thinking of opening the palm out, you're thinking of how can I use my pelvis, take my knee, lift my pelvis, move my ribs, move my breastbone, and feel how the shoulder presses into the floor to passively move that arm. So you're reducing the intention of active movement in your hands and arm. And just let your head do whatever it wants to do, just go with the movement or not. And as you come back, feel where the arm comes back by itself now. So the movement back is also a passive movement. And notice the quality of taking that support of the ground when you have more understanding of the connections through the body. When we can do this movement passively, we take a lot of stress out of our arms. Our arms are the doing things. And we're now saying, well, you don't have to work so hard. Something else can do the work and you can rest. And just rest, let that movement go and feel how you're coming to the floor now. This lesson is actually one of my favorite lessons in Feldenkrais. It was done in my training by one of the very world famous trainer called Ruthie Alon, who's developed her own program now based on Feldenkrais called Bones for Life. And I remember the first day of the training, she did this lesson, and I'd been rushing around because I had 2 young kids then, doing everything in the morning, working with clients, and got to the training and flopped on the floor. And then we did this really lovely lesson where I just felt all the tension go out of my arms, and I realized how much I do, I do things with my arms, but just letting the arm rest and find its way back to itself and how it's connected to the rest of your body. And sometimes if you're worried about things too, like we can tighten our arms, tighten our hands, and just doing these little movements where we feel that support from the ground, from the earth, can help us just relax and use ourselves better, not by, like use all of ourselves in doing a movement rather than just parts. Okay, bend up your left knee again. And let's just do that same movement again of tilting the knee to the right and feeling how as the pelvis lifts, those ribs on the left side start to lift. And can you think that the ribs on the right side are pressing more into the floor? So as you lift the left side of your pelvis, the right side of your pelvis and the right side of your ribs are pressing more into the floor. And you could even help the left side of your pelvis to lift by pressing the right side into the floor. And place your left hand on your chest again, but don't lift the shoulder off the floor, just feeling your chest there and feeling that you could help that chest to move across to the right by pressing those upper ribs and your shoulder blades into the floor. So this is another little strategy that you can use. You can use the earth, the ground forces, pressing your right side into the floor to help the palm open towards the right. And just come back, but stay in that position with the knee up. And this time I want you to put your hand on your chest and those lower ribs and don't let anything move. Don't, whatever you do, let anything move in that area, and feel what it's like if you went to do this movement of pushing through your foot when you don't let those ribs move. Does it connect up to your arms? I think, so you can see for many of you, that's not, just kind of like it's got the brakes on. And this area in our chest is where we put on the brakes. We get upset, anxious, stop breathing, and our chest tightens. And this chest area actually has the ability to move like an accordion instead of being like a cage. So now, instead of letting those ribs, like even if you're just like feeling what it's like to tighten in your ribs, you're worried about something and you're tightening in the ribs, and then if you try and move your pelvis and connect it to your arm, it just doesn't happen. It's like the lights, something's cut the wires and the switch doesn't go on. And then can you let your chest be soft? And then as you move your left hip, can you just encourage, and you may even be able to think of the movement starting in your ribs, that your chest can start the movement and your leg comes along and your arm comes along. Can you initiate the movement from your ribs? And this to me was a huge eye-opener. I'd had a whiplash injury when I was 21. I got hit by a truck and had learnt to tighten my ribs and not let them move. And so my pelvis would move and my head would move, but they were not connected because I couldn't soften. I was just like protecting myself so much that I was not moving those ribs. And it was quite a revelation when I learned how to soften my rib cage. I stopped getting bad headaches. My shoulders were a lot freer and easier, and I didn't have lower back pain. So this movement of the breastbone is a key to so much of our movement. And it's where most of us are unconscious, especially at this time with all the stresses happening in the world, the COVID situation and the climate situation, and the economic situation, everything else. We're bracing ourselves for the worst. And when we do that, we tighten our chest. And maybe you could just explore different positions for your foot, just to feel which makes the strongest connection to your arm. So you might like the knee a bit closer to your body, you might like it a bit further apart, away. Just exploring that connection to see where does it make the most sense and where does it make the movement light and easy. And just rest for a minute. Let your leg come long and rest. And of course, in these movements, just take rest when you need them. Don't wait for me to to tell you when to rest. Bend up your left knee again. And pay attention to your right hand on the floor, the palm facing down, and begin the movement of moving your knee across to the right, pushing through the foot, lifting the side of your pelvis. And this time, as the arm rotates to face the ceiling, can you slide your shoulder blade up towards your ear? So your shoulder blade slides up towards your ear, closer to your right ear. And place your left hand behind your head, if that's possible. Has anyone haven't, Tanya, is that yours? Which is your sore arm? Is that, if it's your left arm, keep your left arm down by your side. Don't do that. Put your left arm down by the side. And what you can do is slide your left arm down. And where's Nu? Nu, is it your right arm or your left arm? You're right. Okay, so left arm as well. So maybe both of you just have one arm up, one arm down, rather than the hand behind the head. And you can just imagine that movement. So this slides your, as the right shoulder slides up, can you put your hand under your head and slide your head across to the left? So you're sliding your head across to the left. So your nose stays facing the ceiling, and your head slides across to the left. So your right arm, your left arm is behind your head. Sorry, I might have said your left arm is behind your head, and you're sliding your arm down to the left. Sliding your left arm is sliding down to the left. So you're getting shorter on that left side and longer on the right side. Those of you who were here for the lesson yesterday, we did some of these sideways bending movements, and it's kind of like that same movement. So you're sliding, your elbow is sliding down towards your left hip. You're making a C curve in your body, and your right shoulder is coming up towards your ear. So Steve, if you put your hand under your head, maybe shift that cushion underneath you. I think it's stopping you moving. Shift that cushion under your head, from under your head. And now as your right arm slides up, your shoulder blade comes up towards your ear. Imagine that you're on wheels, your head's on wheels, and you're just sliding across to the left. Sliding your elbow across to the left. So you're getting longer on the right side and shorter on the left side. Longer on the right side and shorter on the left side. And for some of us, the ribs don't move, and so it's not an easy movement to do, sliding the ribs across. So maybe, Steve, if you put your left arm down and you slide your left arm down towards your left foot. Just slide your left arm down towards your left foot. And as you slide your left arm down towards your left foot, can you slide your right arm up towards your head? And can you feel as you do that how the ribs on the left side come closer together? You get shorter on the left side and you get longer on the right side. Okay. Now, as you do this same movement again of lifting up the left side of your pelvis, and you'll feel how the right arm comes up closer towards your head, so you're getting the ribs open on that right side. On the left side, the ribs come closer together. And as you do that movement, can you feel how your breastbone is moving, how it slides? So and just have a rest. See you, Elaine. Bye. Just sense how you're resting on the floor now. Okay, this time bend up your right knee and move your right knee to the left. And this time, can you allow the movement to rotate the right arm inwards so that you pivot on the thumb and turn the back of your hand to face your body? So it's the same right arm. It's as if you have a string between your knee and your little finger on the right side. You're taking the right knee inwards and feeling how the right side of your pelvis lifts up off the floor. And then as you come back, the hand comes back to the floor again. So you're taking, this time your right knee's bent up. And I can't quite see you, Penny. Can't see your head. It's coming a little bit. Yeah. That's better. Yeah. So you're taking your right knee in and feeling the right side of your pelvis lift, and it's pulling gently on, taking your little finger so that your palm now, the little finger lifts and your palm leaves the floor. So you start with your right palm on the floor this time. The right palm is on the floor. And as you move your right knee across to the left, the palm, the little finger side of your hand lifts up off the floor. It lifts up off the floor. So the palm faces outwards. And again, can you think of doing that movement passively in your arm so that the pelvis is moving, the ribs are moving on the right, the breastbone's moving, and the arm just comes along for the ride. And as you do that movement, could you also slide slide the shoulder down, the arm down towards your feet? So you're getting shorter on that right side. You're taking the leg across to the left and your arm is sliding down, but keeping the shoulder on the floor. Shoulder stays on the floor. So it's not a huge movement because we're constraining it by not moving the whole arm, but just the arm slides down. And what's actually happening is the shoulder blades are on the floor. The ribs got a chance to slide across those shoulder blades. And as you slide that arm down, can you let the other arm slide up on the floor towards your head? So you're just sliding it up towards the floor. So you're getting longer on the left side now and shorter on the right side. So you're taking the leg across to the left, the right hip's lifting, the right ribs are lifting. Can you think of the left side of your body pressing more into the floor? Does that make sense for you? And your left, you've got that string attached to your little finger so that the knee is just passively pulling your arm. The arm is sliding down a little bit and your other shoulder sliding up, to your left shoulder sliding up towards your ear. Then you come back. And could you think of doing the movement from your breastbone? That you can actually move that breastbone and do that movement. And can you notice what's happening in your left shoulder? So it's on the floor, so that you kind of like, even though we think we're just doing, we're actually working both sides of the body, but our attention is just on one side a minute. And so feeling how your left arm, your body is getting to move across that left shoulder as well. Can you feel that, Tanya? Yeah. Okay.
Rhonda,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I noticed I'm still gritting my teeth a bit, so
Okay, just tell people. Okay,
yeah.
Good. Thanks, Penny. So notice, are you gritting your teeth as you're doing these movements? You know, kind of we try to do something and we can grit our teeth or hold our breath. So just can your jaw be soft as you're doing the movements? Now, for those of you who don't have sore left shoulder, can you put your left hand behind your head? And Steve, don't worry about this either. You move your arms up and down. I'm happy for you to go like that, moving your arms up and down. But for the rest of you, put your hand behind your head and you can see your back, Elaine. Okay. So your left hand's behind your head and you're sliding. I just got to think. You're sliding your head across to the right this time. You're sliding your head across to the right, so you're getting shorter on the right side, longer on the left side, and keeping your nose towards the ceiling. Can you turn around the other way, Penny, so I can see more of the upper body? Just like if you turn the other way so that, yeah. So as you're sliding the arm down, if you want to have a look at Penny doing this movement, if you can see her. Penny is one of my colleagues, so just seeing. So as you're doing that movement, the right arm is sliding down and you're getting shorter on that right side, and your head is sliding, Elaine, like it's on wheels across to the left. Maybe that pillow is inhibiting you a bit. You might want to just shift what's under your head a bit, so that you keep your nose towards the ceiling. Nose stays towards the ceiling, and you're sliding as if you've got wheels underneath your head. And bring your right arm down a little bit more. And so that as you're sliding across, that arm's sliding down towards the other leg. You can take it down a bit more. So your whole upper body is like a wheel, and you're sliding your head across to the left, to the right. So the hand under the head, the elbow's moving, the elbow's going up towards the ceiling, and the whole thing is sliding across and coming back to the middle again. The elbows coming up towards the ceiling and your whole head is sliding under. But you're not turning your head. If you turn your head, you don't have to engage something in the middle. What this movement demands is you move in the middle of you, in those lower ribs. So see if I can show you. I'll pin myself. And if I've got my hands on my head like this, and I lift like that, see how I get longer on that side and shorter on the other. But if I do that, I don't have to move anything in my ribs. But this constrains this upper part, stops it moving, and as I lift up, it tricks my brain into moving from that middle part. Yeah, that's it. You're getting the idea now. Now, Tanya, if you put your left arm down by your side, like the left arm down by your side, and just like, rest it down by your side. So you're thinking of, you're thinking of taking that shoulder up as the left one's going down. And feeling how the movement is actually through the middle of you, keeping your nose towards the ceiling. Okay, just rest, yeah. And all just take a rest. And just sense how you're lying on the floor now. Noticing your breathing. Feeling the left side of you and the right side of you. Bend up your right knee. And place your left hand on the floor with the palm facing up. Your left hand on the floor with the palm facing up on the floor. Is that okay, Tanya, for your shoulder? Not, yeah, putting it down. Okay. Just put it where it's comfortable for you, if it's not. And no, that's all right for you, having that arm there. Okay. And very gently take your knee across to the left and feel as you do that how, if you had this, sorry, we're placing the palm down. Can you start with the palm facing down on the floor? And that's okay for you, Tanya? Yeah, right. Okay. So take your knee across to the left and feel a piece of stick between your knee and your thumb. And as you take the knee across to the left, can you think of the knee and the pelvis lifting that can allow that thumb to move. Okay, and then come back and think of just moving gently. The knee lifts, the pelvis lifts, and can you feel any movement in those lower ribs as you do that? And yeah, okay, and can you feel a movement in your breastbone as you do that movement? Okay, and it's not hurting you doing that? You're okay. Okay, so this is a movement that would be really good for you to practice, just even if you just do this. Just taking the knee across, lifting that side of your pelvis, lifting your ribs, and so that you start to give your body the idea that it's not the poor old arm that's doing the work. You can actually move from the center of you to do that work, to move your arm. Yeah. And as you do the movement, can you think of pressing the left hip and the left ribs into the floor as well? And even pressing down on that left shoulder, feeling that movement. And then sensing what's happening in your breastbone. And if you bring your right hand up to just put it on your breastbone somewhere and those lower ribs, so you're stopping the ribs moving. Feel what happens if you try and lift the pelvis when you don't let the ribs move. Can you feel how difficult that is? Yeah, okay. And now think of the ribs being soft and that you could actually move the ribs to move your pelvis and to move your arm, that those ribs could start to move. And that makes sense for you, Nu, as well, the same sort of thing. And notice there's a different on this side with this arm. So we went to the side with Nu and Tanya. I'm not sure about which Patricia had, but it was your left arm. So we went to the side that was easy first to get the pattern.
I'm not sure which arm are we moving, sorry.
You are moving the left arm, Nu.
Yeah. So this right arm on the floor?
You've got your left arm on the floor, yes, and you're moving. So you're using your pelvis and your ribs and your sternum to so you've got this little piece of stick between your left knee and your right thumb, and your body is doing the movement of your arm.
Left knee and right thumb. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's right knee, left thumb. We're doing it the opposite way.
Right knee, left.
We've been doing that. So we're lifting the right side of your pelvis. Yeah, and it's your left thumb that's opening. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And that's not sore, hurting you?
No.
No. Okay. Just have a rest. Sense how you're lying on the floor. Notice how your arms are resting, how much they're in contact with the floor. Has anything changed since we started this lesson? Okay, very gently bend up your knees and come up to sitting. You can either sit on the floor or sit on the chair, whichever's more comfortable. Okay, see if I can get back a bit so you can see me a little bit better. So yesterday we did a lesson looking at sideways flexion. Remember that, where we did these movements? And those of you who weren't here, we did those movements. And today we kind of looked at that same idea of how we move here. What happens with our arms is that if I could go and move my arm just on its own, I'm trying to reach something, and I can do all these things with my arm, and you can see the arm's doing all the work. Or I could reach with my arm and this middle of me could move. The weight can shift on one buttock and this middle moves. So if we take one arm, whichever you like to start with, and think of reaching to the side with that arm and feeling how the weight goes onto that buttock. The other buttock lifts, the ribs open up on that side, and the ribs come together on that side. That makes sense to you? Okay, and come back. And then on the other side, just think of stiffening this area to start with. You're stiffening all in the middle here, not letting it move, and reach with the arm. And feel how you're going to strain in your shoulder or your hands, trying to reach like that. Now, this time, as you reach, can you lift the opposite pelvis? Can you press that buttock into the chair or the floor, wherever you are? Pressing down with that buttock and reaching the arm so that you actually open up on that side, shorten on the opposite side. Okay. And now come back to sitting. And this time, can you imagine that your arms are reaching out, but you're thinking of moving your ribs? So you could even put your hands on your ribs here, and you're lifting up you're lifting up your left elbow, putting the weight on your left buttock, lifting up your right elbow, putting the weight on your right buttock, lifting your left elbow, lifting your right elbow, feeling that movement. And then just take your hands away, and can you still get a sense of that movement? That it's your ribs doing the movement. Your ribs are doing that movement. And so, Steve, I know this is difficult for you. Just watch what we're doing, this sort of, yeah. And you could put your hands on the floor or on the chair and press. You press your hand into the floor and feel how your buttock lifts. Press your other hand and feel how that lifts. So you can do that movement like that. That's another way of doing this. And if we wanted to reach up, so those of you with sore shoulders, just imagine doing this movement on the side that's difficult. So we did the reaching out to the side. Now we could just also reach up and feel the weight go on the buttock and the lengthening on that side. And then on the other side, pressing through the weight on the buttock, the lengthening on that side. Learning to move with ease and grace. First, let's slow down the pace. Getting in touch with the feelings within, all struggle and effort erase from your face. Okay, now come up to standing. And sense how you're standing and how your arms are aligned. Hanging, I mean. And in standing, can you reach out, first of all, I'll sit so you can see me, reach out to the side again and feel and do that movement from your whole body so that you feel how these ribs move and how the ribs move. And you could actually initiate them and you could think you're moving your ribs to move your arm. And then can you reach up to the ceiling, feeling how those ribs can open up. You could think of the action starting in those ribs, opening up here and then opening there. And then just stand again and see if you can just feel that you could actually even imagine that you're going to lift up your right shoulder. So your right shoulder lifts, the left one goes down. So you're just doing this movement and feeling how this happens in the middle of you. And actually you could put your hands on your breastbone like this and just move from one side to the other and just feeling how this middle moves. And your head stays facing the front. You can't see my head, but my head's not turning like that. My head's staying facing the front so that it's like a steering wheel. You're steering from here and the center of the wheel is here. And then you can put your hands here again and just make a ha, 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 ha. So I think what happens is our feelings get all locked up in here. You know, we just can't stomach things and bottle everything up inside. So, and that when we bottle everything up inside, these ribs get really tight. And so being able to go ha, ha is a really great thing to just let off steam, get things out of you rather than bottling them up inside. Okay, let's come and have a seat and we'll have a talk about this lesson. So I'll just unmute you. I'm interested, Tanya, to talk to you first. Just unmute all. So I can't see your lovely face, Tanya. So can you, if you come onto the floor so I can come a bit closer so I can hear you properly, and just so how did you go with that?
Unfortunately, my shoulder was more painful today than
yesterday, was it? Yes, that's what I was trying to get you to just do less. So
yeah. I couldn't find a position to start from. Yes,
okay.
But that's wonderful to be able to have that to practice.
Yes, yeah. Just when you're in pain, you just need to do less. I was trying to watch you, but yeah, just and what I could have done if I'd have realised that was put a little support under your arm. So your arm
I know, but I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything to that. But once I found a position to start from, then I was okay. I could definitely feel what you were talking about.
Yes. So can you understand, like, did you feel anything happening in these lower ribs?
Mm.
Yeah, and sort of, so I was watching you at the end and you had
yes, definitely.
Yes, and so it's noticing as you use your arm And I think when you're in pain, you kind of brace this area. And so it becomes, you get lock yourself even more. But just even with your good arm, just moving and feeling, how can you move from these ribs? How can you initiate a movement from that center of you? And I think that'll make a big difference. I work a lot with people with frozen shoulders, and that's the key. How do they, everybody who has frozen shoulders, they've got frozen chest as well. So, or not everybody, but most people do. And how do we get that movement? How do we wake up the chest moving, and so that, that can be easier. So today, just take things really gently. Yeah.
Sometimes what happens, I find that I can take this arm to the position, but then when I return it is when I get the pain, the muscle that has to bring it back.
Yes. So it's just going really gently, slowly coming back as well, like settling like sand in an hourglass. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
But you're doing really well. It's a first approximation at Feldenkrais. So yeah. And just and sometimes when we want to fix something, there's it's almost like we try and push something to happen or make it happen. And so it's just, sometimes it's just letting it go, like I've got my little finger, 5 months ago, I just got a little cut in it, and it's been infected since then, and I'm doing everything to get rid of it. It's like I'm thinking of getting rid of it rather than sort of making friends with it.
No.
But we do that. That's our human nature, sort of like. Yeah. And it's seeing that whatever we have, an injury is an opportunity to learn something different, but it's not forcing ourselves, just being really gentle with yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, Nu, I want to ask you next how that was for you, and just whether that made sense. I can't see your face. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think I'm freer, but I got really confused at the end on which leg, what arms.
Okay, that's all right.
And where the head goes.
Yeah. And sometimes when something's really changing, there is that confusion. It's like we're going on a different path, and where am I going? What's happening? And so that's not
did
a bad
I do that
thing.
before? Yes.
It's just that you're breaking out of our old patterns, and our nervous system doesn't know what to do. So that was fine. Just So you're just starting to feel like you've done a few lessons now, starting to feel this awareness of how this part can move. Good. That's great. Okay. Who
Can
else?
I say something to Nancy first? And that is that when I did the training, I've done times where they don't tell you, they don't correct you or anything. So I've done 2 days of doing it all the wrong way.
Oh.
And I still have massive changes in my body. Doesn't even matter if you do it the wrong way. No. Somehow just the learning, it happens.
Yes.
And I also wanted to say something to Tanya, and that is that I had a sore shoulder in the training, and I kept trying to do it and insisting on doing the movement. And it took me 6 weeks where I finally succumbed to visualizing it, and then my shoulder got better. Yeah. I was pretty stubborn.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, so I found it was a cumulative thing. So you think you can do this thing with your shoulder, but over the day it all adds up, and by the end of the day you're in agony. So you really have to go small, even though you can do it at the beginning of the day. Anyway, that's what I found. And I just wanted to read you my poem because, is that all right, Rhonda?
Yes, that's Penny's a wonderful poet. She has a poem for every occasion. So I'm glad you wrote a poem.
So I just wrote this now. It's called From Shoulders to Shoulders, because I like that, Rhonda. Pelvis pushing, shoulders efforting. Why is this so tiring? For there's no connection between them, no movement in the middle. My breath is frozen, my ribs are caged, my heart just won't open. Anxiety has taken over. But oh, the relief, and I push through the ground, and I breathe into my heart. Then the movement flows through all the way up to my shoulders, which can now reach out freely, easily, magnificently. No longer shoulders or boulders. Now life becomes delicious.
Beautiful, Penny. That's lovely. I'll give you in these little reactions, you can put a clap. So I put in a clap.
Because I have to say, for years, Rhonda's worked on my ribs and kept telling me it's all in the ribs. Haven't you, Rhonda? I have sore back and sore shoulders and da-da-da-da-da. And she just keeps saying, but Penny, it's all in the ribs.
Yeah. Thank you. Elaine, thank you, Penny.
Okay.
You're going, were you? You have to go. Yeah, okay. So Anne, how about you? How are you going? I can't hear you. Oh, you're on mute, yeah.
Good, except for when I forgot that I wasn't supposed to be rolling, where I was rolling very enthusiastically, but once you reminded me about keeping the shoulder on the ground,
Yeah.
I was feeling quite a lot of movement in the ribs and the chest, and just feeling opening up more than, you know, than I used to. So it's a gradual thing, but I feel it getting better.
Yes, it is a gradual thing to sort of, our patterns are pretty ingrained.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Good, thanks, Anne. And Steve, how did you go?
It felt very good. Sorry about I didn't get on at first to the moving the head backwards and forwards when we were at that moment. Then you said, give up. And then I understood what you were saying.
Yes.
Next segment. But it was certainly feeling the, you know, increased flexibility, because I have had issues with my shoulder, though. That's, you know, by and large, they're both healed now at different times. I've had issues with both of my shoulders, but I could certainly could understand the logic of the moving the ribs and letting your core do the work. That made a lot of sense, and I feel very relaxed.
Oh, good. It's good. Yeah, I think when our chest becomes freer, that's where we hold all our tension. So, yeah, it's good. Wonderful. Thanks, Steve. Lovely to have you. Yeah. And Bev, how are you going?
Good. That was good for me today. Thank you, Rhonda. I actually feel a bit of relief even in my sciatic.
Oh, good. Yes.
Which was troubling me at the beginning. But the C-shaped twisting, that I think that helped a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
And then when we lay down flat, I felt much flatter to the ground this time.
Yeah.
Than usual. Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Now, Patricia, are you there? I just can't see you.
Yeah. Oh, can't you see me?
Okay. It's okay. How was that for you? Even if I can hear you, that's.
No, it has eased me. Where my arm meets my body in the front was so sore this morning, but it has eased me. And I do need your words to go gentle, rather than push to get a result. But I will remember it, dear. Sorry, I had to run away and get the charger for 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Trish.
Yeah, that's where I just ran to get the charger for the iPad.
So, Penny's beautiful poem was. Yeah, if you can send me the poem, Penny, I'll send it out to everyone. And
Okay.
And it reminded me of a little song I wrote, like the in our arms is our heart meridian. Like people have heart attacks and they get the pain in the arm, the chest is really tight. And I wrote this little song once. It's called "Connecting with My Heart." Now I know where to start. Let your feelings flow. Discover all you know. Let your eyes just breathe the light, so you don't have to fight. It's time to lose control, to climb out of this hole. So just was thinking with Tanya then, it's like being that heart, being kind to yourself. That compassion for yourself can take away I've got to get it right, you know, I've got to fix it, and just see if that can make a difference for you. Okay, so any questions before we go?
No.
thank you all very much. And I'll send you this recording and try and work out with you, Tanya. I'll send it very soon. So anyway, I'll work out with you why you didn't get the recording. So, and I'll send you, those of you who haven't, if you come even to one of these, you'll get the recordings for the whole week. So I'll send you those.
Very generous. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank
Rhonda.
you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And tomorrow we'll do a lesson combining everything. This is the spiral we're going to do today, but I thought I needed to do the arm things. But the spiral thing is also to do with your arms as well. So we'll finish off with that lesson tomorrow. So thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.